I'm sitting there last night. I'm watching Connor Brown score a massive shorthanded goal to send the series back to Edmonton. And I'm thinking, son of a bitch, that's Fernando Pisani's music. He joins us now on the show. Fernando, there's no way you didn't watch that and kind of go like, I remember that feeling. That's a good feeling.
Yeah, it was pretty amazing. Well, their PK's been phenomenal this whole playoffs. They just don't give anything, and they're a threat. It seems like you look at the game yesterday, and Florida was kind of coming on hard, and then they got the power play, and all of a sudden the momentum just swung right from there. So it was a great stick, taking away that passing lane, and then he just out muscles and out competes Barkov on that, and just goes in on a breakaway and makes a very good move for sure.
It's crazy to think, like, you watch that clip and Barkov just like stopped skating, and we were just watching the empty net clip where Ekman Larsson just stopped skating, and it feels like the Oilers have zapped a little bit or a lot of life out of this Panthers team. Comparing that to you guys in 06, when you obviously it was 3-1, you make it 3-2. Was there a point in that series where you really felt like, we have zapped the life out of these guys?
Yeah, I think you go into every series confident in your ability to win, and I think the Oilers are no different than we were in that regards. They were, all the games have been pretty close, obviously, except for the 8-1 game. So there was really never, an opportunity where I sat there and said, you know what, we're outgunned, we're outmatched. So I believe that the current team is thinking the same thing. The one big thing that they have that we didn't was 97. Obviously, he's a difference maker. He's a game changer. He is the most dynamic player that I've ever seen play, and he has that ability to change a game around. And you guys saw yesterday, he 1-on-4, and he's taking all those guys on, and he makes a beautiful little pass over to Perry. Like, those are goals that, not every guy can set up for sure.
Yeah, 97's impact has been insane. You got one?
Yeah, so Connor McDavid said this, I think, going into game 4, right? That the pressure wasn't on the Oilers anymore. It was on the Panthers. When you were in that series, did you feel there wasn't a lot of pressure going into you guys in those games when you were down 3-1? Or was it just kind of like the pressure's there the whole time and it sounded like a final?
There's definitely pressure. I would say, when you're down in that situation, everybody's expecting them to just close it off, right? So I think they, going into that, game 4, you lose focus on sometimes the goal in mind, and you're focused on, oh, my parents are coming, I got to make sure my friends are all taken care of, everybody's flying out. And that somewhat becomes a little bit of a distraction. And I think that might have been the case in game 4, as bad as that sounds, being a distraction. But, your focus is just, should always just be on playing the game, being prepared and doing what you need to do to have that. And I think that might have crept into Florida's game in game 4. But, there's really, no pressure on the Oilers at that point. Everybody was kind of expecting them to just be okay. They're going to be done. If it's not 4, it'll be in 5, right? That's kind of the mindset that fans were looking at. And maybe they just played a little bit more relaxed, knowing that, let's just go out, let's play, let's execute and see what happens from there.
One of my favorite parts of these last couple of weeks is we've had a bunch of guys from your guys' team in 2006 on the show, and my favorite question to ask them is who they think didn't get enough love on that 06 team. And I know Pronger said UC Markkinen. We had Rafi on as well. Who's the guy on that 06 team who, like, again, you obviously got a ton of love. We're 18 years later. We're still asking who's going to be the Fernando Pisani of this run. And everyone knows the impact Chris Pronger had, but who's a guy on that team who maybe you think didn't get enough love, who really drove you guys, maybe if it was even behind the scenes?
You know what? I wouldn't say there's one specific guys. There was, a few. Like Pekka, I think was instrumental in our playoff run as well. Like, he just did so many little things. He was great on faceoffs, great defensively. Rafi, with the big hit against in San Jose, that kind of turned the series around. You had Sean Horkoff blocking a shot with his his face against Detroit. So it's like, there's not one specific player I would say that didn't get a lot of love. I think there was just little details of the game that everybody chipped in that made, some sort of impact on the series at that time. So it was just a lot of guys doing a lot of the little things that, just didn't get recognized. Like, we recognized them, but I think from a fan standpoint, sometimes it just gets overlooked.
You were in the building for game 4. I just want to know what you thought of the atmosphere in that building. It was incredible. In the third period, everyone was singing Shania Twain, and she was in the building for it.
It's beautiful.
It was amazing. Like, what did you think of just the atmosphere at Rogers Place?
Yeah, that was the first game this year I went to in the playoffs, and you forget how crazy, just not even inside, but outside of everything that was going on. You look around and how big the game's got now, and how, just the fans have been so ecstatic about this whole playoff run that they've had, and it's continuing. And the building was loud. It was just cool because I had my kids there, so they were there to experience it all and soak it all in. So it was a fun atmosphere. I did my interview with Kyle there, and I couldn't hear anything he was saying, and he was literally 2 inches from my ear. So that just goes to show you how loud that place is. And when they scored the first goal, just everything erupted, and it was just an atmosphere from then on.
So I want to run something by you, and you can tell us if you want us to drop it or not. But when Liam was at the game, he noticed something. Zach Cassian got a tribute video. Ryan Whitney got a highlight reel played, and then they just flashed you up. No highlight reel. So we started a beef with the Oilers. We want you to get a tribute video. Is it a big deal, or do you want us to drop it?
No, keep going. Yeah, no, my kids said the same thing to me because, they put you on the screen, and, you got those guys taking off their shirts and waving it around, and you're sitting there going, and my kids are telling me, you got to do something, Dad. You got to chug a beer or do this and do that. And I was just like, that's not me. I'm just going to just sit there and wave. So I think they just did a quick little kind of flyby, which I was fine with too. So it was all good.
I thought in the moment, though,
you were fuming. You couldn't believe it. You almost walked out.
At that price, I would never walk out of Rogers Place.
Yeah.
But I just thought, though, like the atmosphere that it was, and just if they had put those highlights of you scoring some of those goals from 06, like up on the screen as you, would have been awesome. But I wanted to ask you as well. I've always been curious about this. Obviously, like, players know what's happening in the crowd and they can feel that energy. But when you were on that run with the Oilers, was there ever a moment or any time in your career you just sat on the bench and you kind of look around and you're like, this is nuts?
Yeah, you know what? I did that my first my first NHL game at home. I kind of was looking around and really soaking it in and really appreciated the opportunity, because you work so hard to get there. So and me being a kid from Edmonton and Oilers always being my team, it was my dream come true to be on that same ice surface, to be in that dressing room. Like, there was, it was really cool to really experience that. And then, the other thing is when you go into the playoffs and each round we went to, it was the sound, the loudness, it was just chaos, and it was a blast to be a part of, for sure.
Last one I got for you. This series is going back for a game 6. The building, I cannot wait to get to Friday and be in that building. What are your memories of what the crowd was like, and even just the atmosphere in the city leading into game 6 back in 06?
Yeah, we were pretty secluded from everything. Like, when we went into the finals, we were waiting to see who was going to be. It was, I think, Buffalo and Carolina were playing. So we had finished our series a little bit early. So we ended up just flying to New York and practicing there, and then figuring out who we're going to play. Obviously, it was Carolina. But we just kind of got out of Edmonton just because it was chaotic. It was electric. It was amazing. And it was, Mac T wanted to just say, let's just get out of here and get focused and get ready for wherever we are. And plus the travel was going to be quite a bit. So it kind of broke up the travel, which was a pretty good idea at the time, for sure.
Love it, Fernando. You good?
I just had one question, and this is something that's happened after your career, of course, but you have kids who are playing and doing really well. I believe one of your sons just signed in the WHL. Like, how cool has it been to see and be involved in what they've been able to do so far in their young careers?
Yeah, I was fortunate enough to coach them throughout their, young hockey careers, and able to kind of show them the ropes, and show them kind of, the proper way of playing the game, and give them little tips here and there. And it's great that they first of all, they love playing the game. They're very passionate about it. I don't have to tell them to do this and that. They want to get better. They want to succeed. And, taking them to these games, and letting them see how awesome, the city is, when, and the teams in these situations. So it's just been great for them to experience it. And it also just motivates them to kind of get to that next level.
I know, I lied. Our boss Jay gave us a question to ask you, and the chat is killing me right now because I haven't asked it yet. Who on this year's Oilers team, who is this year's version of Fernando Pisani?
Well, you could say Connor Brown's been, exceptional through the playoffs here. He's had a really good, done a great job on the PK, and setting up plays and setting up goals. And you're going to need, guys like that to continue to step up and play that way for sure.
Okay, Fernando, we really appreciate your time, man. We kept you a little long, but you're a beauty. Thanks so much for hopping on. Enjoy game 6 and 7.
Yeah, thanks a lot, guys. Take care.
What's up, Nation citizens? If you like that video, then you need to be subscribed to the Oilers Nation YouTube. Podcasts, live shows, exclusive interviews, and analysis. Everything you need from your favorite voices at Oilers Nation. And you don't want to miss any of it, so hammer that subscribe button.